Good evening, everybody. Tonight, I am hopefully going to be finishing this page that I've been working on for the last several art streams. Not like this is the only thing I've been working on for the last 3 weeks, just I've been moving this one along slowly so that you can watch. So this is chapter 23, page 7 of Age of Night, my webcomic. So a couple weeks ago, you got to watch me draw this. Last week, you saw me start working on this background inking, all of this nib work stuff. I have finished all the nib work, which, as you can see, took a while because there's quite a lot of it. So now I'm going to be moving on to inking with the brush. So for my brush, I use, as I try to figure out where my camera is, I use the Winsor Newton Series 7 sable brush, a size 4, which is pretty good sized, but they're a really good brush. So even with a pretty fat tip, you can get a really nice fine point on it and still get little details, but you also won't be spending the rest of your life trying to fill in large sections of black. So that's good. So I've got a little bit of ink on there. Get that loaded up. I also have a piece of scrap paper just out of frame, which I use to help hone my point after I load it up. You can see how tiny and fine. I don't even know if you can pick up on camera quite how fine that little point can be. So that I like to keep just on the edge there. I'm going to start with just filling in some of these spot blacks that I love for myself. A lot of this whole chapter, really, not even just this scene or this page, but a lot of this whole chapter has a ton of the nib work in the background and only a handful of dark spot blacks. Because it's at night, like this whole chapter is taking place at night, but I also, I don't want everything to just be completely black. I do want you to be able to see what's going on. So everything's just very textured and heavy and some really deep shadows. I foolishly started doing a texture on that area and then realized, oh wait, that's a big flat black shadow by texture that I worked on. Like the goober that I am. All right, I'm gonna fill in my spot blacks. Spot blacks on these trees. Try not to totally mash the texture on the edge of the other shrub that I already did. Fill all these in. Ooh, I might have loaded that brush up a little bit too much that time. That's looking kind of heavy. Let's knock a little bit of that back into the inkwell here. Back into the bottle with you. All right, I'm going to hold off on doing this section until I do this inset panel because I don't want to be dragging my hand through it and then cursing my existence. So let's not do that. I will endeavor not to hit the camera with my head. All right, so we've got these two little figures here. So I apologize. I'm not trying to make anybody seasick, but especially for brush inking, my paper will pivot and whip around a little bit to get the best angle for the stroke I need to make, because some strokes are just easier and more natural from other angles. That's a hand, sure, why not? These teeny tiny little details of these guys. Oh, hey, there's a comment. Hold on, let me try to read that. Finishing up the page from last time. Yes, yep. I'm finishing up the page from last week, and actually the week before, technically. I don't normally take 3 weeks to finish a comic page, but for the stream every once in a while, I'll select one out and just work on it very slowly so that you get to see all of the different steps. And also, Age of Night is not the only thing that I work on. I'm also simultaneously usually juggling a good number of freelance projects. So. I can ink their little feet. and life does happen as well. Boy, does it ever. All right. Those figures are done. Start working on this figure in the foreground. All right. This hair is always really fun to ink. Kamaria's hair is always a lot of fun. A lot of fun, different directions. I'll work in the little highlights to give it form. All right, there we go. Finish up these shrubs over on the corner here. All right, top tier done. Give that a little texture as it fades out there. Oh, there's another comment. Hold on. Thanks. Yeah, I see. I like doing the really detailed backgrounds, but the if you have the characters be that detailed too, then sometimes like that textured, all the really fine line work, then sometimes they kind of fade away into it, as you can see down here. So I like doing the figures in brush because it does really make them pop out of the much more textured and toned background. Make them a little bit more simple. Ooh, my YouTube playback is glitching out like crazy for me. Hopefully it's not doing that for you guys. Eek. It's really crazy looking. Okay, well, we're going to hope that it's not doing that. If my video is doing something stupid, let me know in the comments. Okay, it seems to be fine now. I think YouTube was having a fit. All right, fill in. I do have a couple little sections of water around Kamaria here that it is. Oh, that's fun. Seems weird. Oh my goodness. What is happening? YouTube, why? Stop it. Help, I'm glitching. I'm in the wrong universe. Why are we doing this? Good grief. It's an art stream. People have to be able to see what I'm doing. Killing me here. I need to go back to my corner of the multiverse and then I'll be fine. Okay. Stop being crazy. YouTube. All right, so I've got her cloak and the water there, and now I have to try to not mess up her face. Are you, like, getting mad because I'm turning my page? What is your problem, YouTube? Why you gotta be like that? Fill in some of these little gaps where the background didn't quite meet up right. I don't want to have her completely haloed. A little bit of a gap is all right, but sometimes it's a little bit too conspicuous. I get really quiet as I concentrate on not screwing her face up. Almost done with this panel. I can almost breathe again. Just gonna hold really, really still. Hold my breath while I finish it. Don't do that. That's a terrible idea. All right. This little shadow under her chin, and then a shadow of the inside of her hood. Whew, okay. There was like a comment while I was doing that. Oh, that's wonderful. That's so nice. Thank you. They said that my style reminds them of Eddie Campbell and Jeff Smith. That's very high praise. Thank you. As I shake everything. Bone is one of my favorite things ever. So, like, of all the things in all of history. It's so good. Oh my word. Like, yes, I'm watching what I'm doing, but I can see it glitching out of the corner of my eye. I suddenly see my periphery. I suddenly see the screen going freaking crazy. Why? Ugh. I'll try not to let it bother me. I'll just press on. As long as it's not doing it literally the entire time, you'll at least still get to see some progress. Are you for real right now? Stop it. Dark, watery shadows. Well, it looks like this is going to be a short stream anyway, because I'm getting through this at a pretty good pace. Which is probably for the best, because I don't know what YouTube's problem is. But it seems to be having some sort of dang issue this evening. All right. Sinking down into the water. What is this glob of crap on my brush? Not that you can see it with the image going crazy. I managed to pick up a glob of pencil shavings. Blech. Right there with her hair going in the water. a bit of the shadow inside the hood. Oh my word. Seriously? That's quite enough of that. Shadow under her chin. Another shadow in the water. All right, on to the next panel. We're making good time here. Yeah, a lot of these pages are just so much of this nib stuff that when it's like, oh, it's time to do brushwork. Oh, I'm done. All right, that's the whole top 2 tiers done. Yeah, that's okay. I completely understand bowing out with it being late and technical issues. I hope you have a good night as well. Anybody who is not sticking it out through the technical glitches, I don't blame you one bit. I'm not going to take it personally. It's YouTube's being super dumb. All right, so I ended up not cropping this one down. I actually really liked the way it looked with everything once I finally got it all drawn in. I ended up having to take a reference photo of my own hand holding, I'll show you, holding my reading glasses. So I was like, I need something vaguely in that shape. Oh, okay. I guess that, yeah, that's vaguely like that. Sure. So that's what I ended up doing for that. So please forgive my hands are a complete wreck. I've got like red under my nails from redying my hair and ash all jammed in my cuticles from cleaning out the pellet stove. Just a disaster. These little water droplets going. All of that is just going to be the dark night sky. Hi from the UK. Hi from the UK. International viewership. Glad to have you. Thanks for hanging out and leaving a comment. I appreciate it. Also, what is it? It's like 8 o'clock here, so it's like 2 in the morning in the UK, right? Am I doing my math right? I have a friend who's theoretically going to be moving to Scotland sometime soonish, so I've been trying to learn these things. Fill in all this big spot black. Whee. This is why I like having the thicker brush. I can still get that fine detail, but I can also fill in all this black without it taking my whole life. Try not to lose any of these little water droplets. Try not to accidentally just bulldoze them with my brush. Oop. You can see where I made a big smudge when I was inking earlier. 1:30. Okay, I was close. I at least did my math in the right direction. I can guarantee you by the time it's 1:30 on the east coast of the US, I will be asleep. I have small children. They wake up at 6 o'clock even on a Saturday. Staying up late is just not really an option for me if I don't want to be a complete mombi. All right, I'm actually going to hone my point a little bit right on this page because I got to fill all that in anyway. Fill in these little spots on the knife. All right. Let's see. I'm filling a little more of this black over on the edges here. Try not to wiggle my camera around too much. I feel like that water droplet needs a little shadow in the big belly of it there. That helps. I think that makes it look a little more like a water droplet and a little less like I just forgot to ink there. You missed a spot. Like the perfectly round ones, I don't feel like need a shadow. They still look like water droplets, but odd-shaped ones, they need some kind of something to define their shape a little better. Oops, scoot that up a little bit so it stays in frame. All right. It's like, yes, this comes out. A lot of times I think this sort of thing comes out better if you just ink around it rather than trying to do white on top of black, because that doesn't work great in pretty much any medium combination I've ever tried, but it's such a pain. It's so painstaking. Trying not to accidentally completely mash over this stuff. Hold my point a little bit there, yeah. Come in and get some of these little details. I did not just do that. No, that was supposed to stay white. I knew I was going to mess that up at some point. Goodness. I'll have to go in and fix that with whiteout. Try not to accidentally mash anything else that I'm not supposed to. Goodness. That one I did want to separate. All right. And since I worked on these pages in batches, since I may not come back to cleaning this page up and scanning it again until a little while later, and so I may forget that that's an issue I wanted to fix. So I will just take one of my colorist pencils that I can easily take out in Photoshop and write myself a little note in a very conspicuous color like bright pink. Fix. All right, there's a comment. I like the water and the boat. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it looks like a woodcut. Yeah. A lot of my work does end up kind of having that kind of look to it. I really like those the heavy hatched textures on things. Fill in that spot. And now, oh my gosh, we're already down to the last panel. This has only been 40 minutes, so I guess this is going to be a slightly shorter stream than usual. I usually do them for about an hour, but this one is not going to last that long. and has been plagued with technical issues, so that's probably for the best, because who knows when they shall return. So while I'm working on inking this last panel, I'll remind you to do all the things. I'm Amanda Call. This is my YouTube channel. If you like watching me work on artwork, you should subscribe to it and like this video. I go live usually Thursdays and Fridays, but my life is kind of hectic sometimes, so I can't really set a reliable time, so subscribing and getting the little notifications thing is really the best way to know when I'm going to randomly do this. So the comic that I am working on is my webcomic, Age of Night. It is a fantasy webcomic that updates every week at ageofnight.com. That's age of Night, like the time of day. If you read it and you think it's cool, then you can support me on Patreon. I'm found at patreon.com/ageofnight, just like the comic, just like the website. The whole thing so far is available for free online, but I've also collected the first 3 volumes of it into trade paperbacks, which you can buy on that big giant evil empire website where everybody buys everything. Or you can also buy it if you have a One Bookshelf account. You can buy it on Drive-Thru Comics, Drive-Thru RPG, and Drive-Thru Fiction. You can buy it from your friendly local bookstore. You can get it wherever. You've got options. And if you want to follow me places other than YouTube, you can find me on Twitter at Age of Night. You can find me on Instagram at Amanda Call Art. That's just my name, ART, no spaces or anything. I think that was all the things. Was that all the things? I don't know. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things to remember. The hustle. Assuming that every freaking con this year doesn't get canceled, my first comic convention appearance will be in April, late April at Bangor Comic and Toy Con in Bangor, Maine. A lot of conventions have been getting canceled or postponed, though, so we'll see how this all shakes out. Hopefully by the end of April it will be less of a thing and not like a whole lot more of a thing. We'll see what happens. A lot of comic artists are a little nervous about how this year goes. Comic cons are kind of a big deal for us. I totally get canceling them. Like, I get it. But it does not change the fact that that is also really rough, a really tough break for those of us who rely on comic cons to, like, make a living. Almost done. Fill in some more of these little shadows here. Places like right there where they didn't quite touch where I want them to. Well, I think once I fill in these last couple of shadows, that'll pretty much be it for this page. Woohoo! I spent a lot of time doing all the nib work on the background here. Oh yeah, and if you missed the first two videos of me working on this page, they're also on the YouTube channel. I have them saved in the live streams playlist. Because I penciled most of this on the stream, and I started the nib inking on the stream as well, so you can kind of see the whole progression. All right, so I guess that's gonna do it for this evening. I managed to get that done in 46 minutes. How about that? So I started with most of this already inked, but I went in and did all of the brush work, so filling in spot blacks, inking figures of chapter 20. We'll do slow pan. Chapter 23, page 7 of Age of Night. Oh, of course. Now it decides to start glitching again. I don't know what YouTube's problem is this evening. It hates me. There we go. There's the page. It's all completed. We're a little short tonight, but that's okay because YouTube's having some kind of problem. So I will see everybody next time. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with me. Bye.